How's it, my brews? I'm Paul Burford, and in this video we're replacing the rusty seat tube in this frame. You see some holes in there. So we're going to have to cut the whole seat tube out and replace it. This gusset's also going to have to come out because the seat tube runs underneath that gusset. And we're going to have some tough times getting the seat tube out here as well. We'll start off with the angle grinder. So this is where we're at so far. There's probably about as much as I can do with cutting disc. Down there. Now we've got to try and remove the rest of that material from there, which is always fun. We'll use one of these jobbies for that. So we got the bulk of that removed. See, the tube's all gone. Still need to tidy up a few of these bits here where the gusset came out. Still need to sort this bit out down the bottom as well. But the old seat tuberoni will fit in there now.
Drag racing.
So we got that fitting in pretty good down there. It's not amazing at the top here though. A bit of a gap there and some tasty gaps either side of the seat stage there. So we'll have to use a nice thick filler rod for that one, I reckon. It's not ideal, but it'll be alright. We'll have a gusset put in at the top here as well, so that'll, you know, help strengthen all that lot up. Gusset in at the bottom, and we're good to go. bit of rust on this tube, so I'm going to spin it up on the lathe. It's been sat on the shelf for a while, so spin it up on the lathe, clean it up a little bit.
I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is punch your mama in the mouth.
Seat tube is back in, gussets are in and welded up, but it needs a seat clamp. So did have a seat clamp on it, and I don't have any in stock, but luckily I do have a CNC machine. So I'm going to make some. This is where I keep all of my scrap bits that would be useful to make things out of. So we're going to have a little scratch around. 20 by 18 by 170 mil. I think we'll just use one of these bits. Now that I've got the stock sorted, it's time to get it set up in the mill. Got the spindle doing a bit of a warm-up procedure. And we'll get the stock clamped in the vise and then zeroed in, and then press go on the program. So that should be the part zeroed in, but I never trust myself. So what I'm going to do is change the tool to the spot drill and then set myself up on the zero. Tool 11, and go X0, Y0, and then we'll see where we're at. Press go. Tool will get put away. And then we'll drop ourselves down, see what the numbers say. So we're off on the Y. The Y is not correct, so I got my, I didn't change this to a negative. Now it's time to get the program transferred from this computer to that one. A little bit of faffing for this. No, network drive can't be found, so that basically means I need to restart that control and get it to link up with the network drive again, which means sort of 10-15 minutes of faffage. Don't know what's going on, lads. It's just not connecting. Go to select the E drive, the share drive, and it's just come up with this error saying that the network name cannot be found. Lucky for me, I have no idea what I'm doing with computer networks. So, with a bit of advice from Instagram stories, I did a bit of Googling, and I think possibly may have found the problem. So what I actually did was take this share folder and drop it onto the desktop, because I was getting bored of having to find this all the time. But if you go into properties, sharing, I hadn't had this share this folder on the network. So try that. Let's load up the machine and see if we're onto a winner. So what I have to do is do an emergency uninstall while the program's loading, and then Control-Alt-Delete to get up the file manager. And then this is the E drive, and previously it was grayed out and it's not right now, so this is a good sign. Yeah, we are connected. Numpty. That's what I am, as a numpty. Program 10. Let's go, let's go, let's go! After many years of doing some manual machining with sketchy cutting tools, I'm absolutely blown away by the ease that a decent carbide cutter can cut through steel and the finish it leaves with the CNC machine. Oh-wee! So we've got all of these bits cut out, released from the stock, they're all to size. Got my line on there so that we know where the slot's got to go in. Now they just need the bolt holes. So I have this little 3D printed kind of fixture thing, and that holds them all of the right spacing apart, like this, so that I can chuck them in the vise and do them all in a one-er. Come on! So we're all set up then. Again, it's a single block so that we don't have a massive crash. We've got that in the vise. We'll zero it in. Fingers crossed for a smooth operation. So nervous. Yeah, it went to plan. Oh man, it's so good when it actually goes to plan and you get a good thing come out the other end. Stoked. So I've just angled ground the chamfer on this side rather than doing it on the machine, because I haven't got a operation set up for doing that yet. I can't quite figure out a nice little fixture to hold it all in. I want to do all 6 of them in one go. Yeah, I haven't quite figured out a decent fixture to do that in yet. So just do it with the angle grinder, tidy it up with a file.
Stand by to launch camera drones. Those small unmanned rocket ships you see leaving us will shortly be sending back television pictures as they fly near the surface. But we'll continue our view from orbit also. Through telescopic lenses, Mars looks even more barren, and there's definitely no sign of it being inhabited. As we know now, some things once thought to exist on Mars turned out to be only illusions, such as the famous Martian Canal.
I used this bit of aluminium in the seat tube to try and as a bit of a heat sink. Also it stops the weld over penetrating too much and keeps the tube round and just makes the reaming at the end generally a lot easier. Got to wait for it to cool down proper, otherwise it just gets stuck. There you go, it's ready for paint. So where we've welded in the gussets here and here, it's closed up the spacing on the rear axle. So we'll chuck it on the alignment table, and then we use these bits here to get the frame to sit nice and straight. Bit of rubber band technology on the head tube. And pull this one up. And once we've got that, take it out of here. Put the rear axle into the frame, and then clamp it on the rear axle and just give it a double checking. It should look pretty good. So what we're looking to see is if there's any gaps between where the tube's touching on these two places, both on the head tube and the seat tube. And it's looking pretty good right now. So rear axle is clamped solidly in there. This is loose so that we're not relying on the bottom bracket faces. And I can spin this down here, which means that the rear axle is not causing the bottom bracket to squish right down onto that clamp, or squish right down onto the spacer. And then we've got a very slight gap at the top there, which means that the seat tube is very slightly down, but I'm happy with where it is. It's not too bad. And then here on the head tube, it's spot on. Both at the top of the bottom of the head tube there and at the top of the head tube here. So there's no twist. Sweet. Now it's actually ready for powder. Now that it's back from powder, it is time to ream and chase and face all the orifices. So we've got to make sure the threads are all good in the bottom bracket, ream the head tube, face it so that the bearings have got somewhere good to sit, face the bottom bracket as well, ream the seat tube, chase the threads everywhere, ream out the hole for the axle, and then put some packaging on it, get it ready for the box. There's this set up to ream the drive side drop out so that the axle can go through. Just clears the paint out of there. Don't put any plugs in there for painting so that there is something to ream out. And it just ensures that there's a proper good size hole there for the axle to go through. And if it's too big, then there's some powder that fills it out. And you run through the other way and chase the threads on this side. Bit of anti-seize on the bolt, fire that in. Lovely jubbly. Now we know the threads are clear on the inside of the bottom bracket shell. And we've got a nice flat surface on the outside here for the bearings to sit against. She's a beauty. Just need to get these out now. Now the seat tube. So this has all been done before going to powder. as you probably have seen. Can't remember if I filmed it or not. So now we're just sort of clearing out after paint, just making sure that there's no paint on the inside there. So there's no effort at all required to marine that. Just making sure it's all nice and clear. Now it's onto the head tube. Again, this was all done before paint, so not a lot of effort required there. Just clearing out powder. Now we face the paint off of the top. Get a bit of rust inhibitor in there. Use Tool Guard by Ambersil. Just get that in on all the exposed surfaces. So in the bottom bracket, in the head tube and in the seat tube. Now it's time for the sticker. Use a bit of string taped along the centre of the down tube, a bit of a guide to make sure that I get the sticker lined up nicely.